from fans. But that doesn't apply to TV announcers. Look at John Radigan as he gets taunted by a young man behind him. Watch that.
That's funny.
And John, hey, cool it.
All it took was a look. Scared the poor kid to death. He scared him to death.
That was the dad look,
yeah.
right? I mean, that was that dad look. But somehow it doesn't work with my kids. It worked with young Evan. Hey, Evan, no hard feelings, right, buddy? All right, good. We're okay. Me and Evan are fine. He's not dancing. I'm not giving him dirty looks. We're all going to enjoy some baseball now, guys.
That was priceless, John.
Man,
nice
I love
story.
that kid.
Well, you really showed him. That's great. That is great. Yeah, that dad look gets you every time. Well, Rangers trying to make it 2 in a row with the Mariners. Tom's going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Rangers lineup tonight.
Delino is out of the lineup, so Will Venable will play center field and lead off. Shin-Soo Choo is second, followed by Prince Fielder. Adrian Beltre had the game-winning RBI in last night's game, a 2-run single to right field with the bases loaded. Mitch Moreland is fifth, Elvis is sixth. Rougned Odor, 6 of his last 11 hits have been doubles, is batting seventh. Joey Gallo gets the start in left field. And Chris Jimenez, with 4 home runs and 6 RBIs in his last 11 games, will catch him bat ninth.
And that's Jeff Bannister's lineup that will face the 23-year-old right-hander Taijuan Walker, having a very good second year in the major leagues, 10-7 in 27 starts. A fastball, a splitter, and an occasional curveball. And he has been much better in the last couple of months command-wise. That has been the biggest difference for him. The Rangers will try and test that early to make sure that command is going to be workable for Walker tonight. And Will Venable takes strike one. Venable, a 207 average with the Rangers. No home runs, an RBI. Came over from the San Diego Padres back in the middle of August. He was a 258 hitter in the National League. Walker missing inside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Now, Will, a veteran of 8 major league seasons with the Padres. Hard hit on one hop, though, right at Cano. One gone. Well, Venable got good wood on it, but Cano didn't have to move very much. Walker has out number 1. Now you'll face Shin-Soo Choo. Now we'll take a look at the Mariners' defense behind Taijuan Walker tonight. You saw Robinson Cano at second base handle that, and he is going to handle most everything that has hit his way. 4th among American League second basemen with that .990 average. He's joined by Marte at shortstop, Seager and Morrison at the corners, Trumbo, O'Malley, and Romero in the outfield, left to right, with Jesus Sucre catching. High and tight to Shin-Soo Choo, who's hitting at a season-high .254 as he steps in. 1 for 5 lifetime against Walker. Choo with 16 home runs. 61 driven in for the Ranger right fielder. Choo in his second year with the Rangers, and really the second half of his second year has been exactly what the Rangers had hoped they were getting when they signed into the free agent contract before last year. Guy with a high on-base percentage, a 20-plus home run hitter, and a guy that is going to hit around 300 for you, be on base and drive in runs. And that's exactly what Shin-Soo has done the second half of the season. 2-2 the count. Hard hit, knocked down by Morrison. Underhand flip onto Walker covering. That is out number 2.
Well, 2 up, 2 down, but 2 solidly hit ground balls. Venable a shot to second. That one looked like it might be headed down the line, but you can see where Morrison's playing. He's shading toward the line, and he was able to knock it down and make the play. Solid contact twice.
Now with the bases empty, Prince Fielder will come up, and infield giving Taijuan Walker a little bit of an opportunity to catch his breath after that sprint over to first base. We have Kyle Seager, the third baseman, saying, we'll slow things down. I mean, he's 23 years old. He can get out of breath, I guess.
Running 80 feet over to first base, that took a lot out of anybody. You and me maybe, but not a 23-year-old.
I don't think you and I would be running anywhere this evening. Prince Fielder, and he takes that knee-high strike. Prince, a .310 average. He has reached base safely in the last 12 ball games, either by a hit or a walk. And it hasn't been by a hit lately. Prince has gone 4 consecutive games now without a base hit. That is the longest this year and the longest since 2013 for him. 2 balls and a strike. Prince still 7th in the American League with that .310 average. And he is still the team leader, 18 home runs and 73 driven in. Seager, the third baseman, playing in the second base spot, throws out Prince Fielder. Rangers down in order on 3 ground balls. We played half an inning in Seattle. Rangers nothing. Mariners coming up.
Ketel Marte will play short and lead off. Kyle Seager is the third baseman. Stephan Romero will bat third tonight. He'll play right field. Nelly Cruz still out of the lineup. Robinson Cano, a .331 hitter in his last 240 at-bats, is the cleanup hitter. Mark Trumbo with a 9-game hitting streak bats fifth. Logan Morrison, 10 for 25 against Cole Hamels, bats sixth. Jesus Montero gets the start at DH. Sean O'Malley is eighth, and Jesus Sucre, the catcher, is ninth.
And the 31-year-old left-hander Cole Hamels on the hill tonight for the Rangers. Ketel Marte chopping a pitch foul. That evens things up. 1 ball and 1 strike. And our progressive scouting report on Cole, his third outing against the Mariners in the last month. And he should be familiar with them by now. Have a pretty good idea of what he wants to do against these hitters. Improved changeup and command of the secondary pitches. His curveball most notably. That has made for better results for the left-hander. He felt like he was able to get back to pitching the way he knows he can pitch. And after the adjustment period, has had kind of good results that he wants. It'll pop up on the right side of the diamond, and Mitch Moreland, for each first baseman, takes care of it. Marte out on a soft pop, 1 away for Kyle Seager. And we'll quickly take a look at the Ranger defense, delivered to you by DeMontront RV. Rangers behind Hamels tonight. We told you about Venable in center. He's flanked by Joey Gallo in left and Shin-Soo Choo in right. The Ranger defense, just 2 errors in the last 10 games. That's the fewest in the American League. Moreland, Odor, Andrews, and Beltre around the infield. Chris Jimenez is catching. Kyle Seager, a .271 average, and he takes a strike on the outer edge. Seager, 22 home runs, 61 driven in, a .330 on base percentage. And he has fared fairly well against left-handers. As a matter of fact, he's batting better against left-handed pitching than he is right-handed pitching. It's a bit low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Talked about Seager's reverse splits, if you will, last night. And he is among the league leaders batting against left-handers. Settling in, Hamels with a 1-1 pitch. Just off the outer edge. And our Ford leaderboard, the active hit streaks in the American League. Kyle Seager with a 10-gamer. Mark Trumbo with 9. And a line drive settles into the glove of Mitch Moreland for out number 2. So Seager, he's going to extend his hitting streak. We'll have to wait one more at bat as he softly lines to first.
Well, both outs have come with his changeup, and he sells his changeup so well. You really can't tell it's a changeup watching it until you see the hitter swing. And if he's out in front of it, it generally tells you that it's a changeup. And there's absolutely nothing in his delivery that would let you know a changeup is coming. It looks just like his fastball.
Oh, 2 gone. Here it is, Stephen Romero. He's called back up from AAA as the roster's expanded to 40 on September the 1st. Romero put up some good numbers down at AAA Tacoma. He had a 292 average as he swings through that Hamill offering. 1 ball, 1 strike. 17 home runs for Romero in 116 games at AAA. Hamill's back to the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's the other part of the equation for Hamill's that cut fastball that he works inside to right-handers. That's an extremely effective pitch. The combination of that pitch and his changeup are just, when they're going well and he has good command of, almost impossible for guys to do much against.
I think each hitter, first 2 hitters, thought they had good swings at a fastball. Turned out it was a changeup, and each one of them was well out in front of it. They made contact, but it was soft contact.
Mm-hmm. Now the 1-2 to Romero. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Romero at the big league level this year, a home run and 3 driven in. This is his second tour of duty. 12th round draft pick by the Mariners back in the 2010 amateur draft. Three and 2. Kind of got away from Cole just a bit. Go full count to Romero. He's trying to get aboard here in the first inning. Robinson Cano will follow. Mariners had their 5-game winning streak snapped by the Rangers yesterday afternoon's game. Are 29 and 37 here at home this year. Payoff pitch. Out of play. Mariners now trailing the Rangers by 7 full games in a wild card chase. And they are 9 games behind the Astros in the Western Division. Lloyd McClendon, the skipper in his 3rd year with the Mariners. Swung on and missed. Jimenez recovers, throws to Moreland for the out, and that'll take care of the Mariners. 3 up and 3 down. We played 1 full inning at Safeco. Rangers nothing, Mariners nothing. Just use hashtag Southwest Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself on one of our upcoming broadcasts. All this made possible by the good folks at T-Mobile. We'll show you the selection a little bit later on for tonight. Rangers come to bat here in the second inning. And, Adrian Beltre starting things off, looks at strike one from Taijuan Walker. Walker had 3 ground ball outs in the first inning. Beltre at .268, 13 home runs, and 50 driven in. Gets a line drive to left field. Trumbo moving toward the line and makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, good swing. Just didn't get it on the good part of the bat. Just missed it. Let's see where he did hit it. Oh, there it is. A little bit off the end of the bat.
Yep.
Right off the end of the bat. 3 or 4 inches down toward the trademark. That hits the good part of the bat. Goes right underneath the scoreboard out there down the left field line.
You see Adrian kind of grimaces. He was running down the line.
Yep.
Doggone it.
He knew it.
Just about got that.
Just a hair early.
Mitch Moreland takes the off-speed pitch high and away for ball 1. Mitch at .288. 18 home runs, ties him with Prince Fielder from the team lead. He has driven in 68. And ball 2 is a little bit outside. Mitch hadn't started the last 2 games. Last one in Anaheim and the first one here yesterday. Left-handers on the mound. Did see Mitch pinch hit yesterday's ball game. Hits this one well to right center field. Up the alley and deep. Goodbye. Mitch Moreland with his 19th home run of the year. The Rangers are on top 1-0.
The Rangers haven't been featuring the long ball that much, so that's a good sign right there. Nice to see Mitch smoke that ball. That's his area out there. The one that he hit here a couple of years ago in the cold, wind blowing in a little bit, about 5 rows farther than that one. Pitch out over the plate, middle of the plate, right in his wheelhouse. See you later. They say sometimes home runs come in bunches. It'd be nice to see Mitch hit them in bunches the rest of September.
Well, Mitch has had 3 games recently with 2 home runs, so maybe this is the first of multiple ones tonight. And Elvis Andrews flying to right field as Stephen Romero takes care of that fly ball. 2 gone. It'll bring up Rougned Odor. And I guess the other thing about Mitch's home run, too, the Rangers are 13-2 when Moreland homers this year.
That's a good sign. What are they when Moreland homers twice?
They didn't have that in the notes, but I would guess they'd be pretty good.
Can't be any worse than that, that's for sure.
Mitch now the outright team leadership in home runs with 19. Rougned Odor, a .275 average. 11 home runs and 45 driven in for the Rangers second baseman. One ball and no strikes. Rougned, like many of the Ranger hitters, having a kind of a tough road trip, hitting at just .208. It's 5 for 24. But as we've been telling you, Odor, and as you no doubt have noticed, since the All-Star break, a .311 average. 42 ball games since the Midsummer Classic.
Yeah, one thing Rougned wants to be careful about, and that's expanding the strike zone. For most of the time when he came back from the minor leagues, he was laying off that pitch, making them throw strikes.
Call, strike 3. Walker came back with a fastball, got it on the inside corner, and that'll do it. But Mitch Moreland gets the Rangers in the run column. His 19th home run of the year. After 1.5, Rangers 1, Mariners nothing. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Be unstoppable during SUV season with incredible savings. Only at your Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Cole Hamels back to work now with a one-run lead with which to work. And Robinson Cano, first ball swinging. Nice play by Moreland to the backhand. And Mitch doing it all with the glove and the lumber. Cano, one pitch and one out. Mitch just homered to get the Rangers out in front. Now plays a very hard hit ball very nicely off the bat of Cano for out number one.
Yeah, nice to get Cano. Cano's hot. 331 in his last 240 at bats. He's also hit 12 of his 14 home runs in his last 65 games. Hit the ball hard in yesterday's game too.
Yeah, here's the streaking Mark Trumbo. Trumbo's had good luck against Cole Hamels. 12 for 41 with 5 home runs. 1 ball, no strikes. Trumbo overall for the Mariners hitting 247. 11 home runs, 31 driven in. Got off to a very slow start, but has really come around of late for Seattle. Twisting down the right field line, in pursuit, Shin-Soo Choo, but he runs out of room.
Oh, touched that ball 4 different times. And a pretty girl with a hat on took the ball right away from him. What a shame. Watch this. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you just got to let it go now. Once the young lady gets involved, you just have to sit down and chalk it up to 5 errors on 1 batted ball.
I'll back it out of play by Trumbo. You just have to let it go, huh?
You got to let it go.
That's all you can
do. Once the female becomes involved, it will not look good to fight her for the ball.
Yeah.
And he knew better. He got to explain it to his father sitting right next to him there.
Son, how could you do that?
I know you taught me better than that, Dad.
And Trumbo pops it up. Off with the mask, Chris Jimenez. Handles that pop out. 2 gone. Folks, next Monday, wear red to the Red Out at the ballpark against the division rivals Houston Astros. 2 upper box or upper reserve seats are available for just $14 using the online coupon code Lone Star. Get to TexasRangers.com before those seats are gone. And that is the Ranger red right there. Wondering which shade of red? That's Ranger red. We want the Red Out to appear at Globe Life Park against that hated Houston Astros team that's coming in for 4 big games. Logan Morrison now steps in with the bases empty and 2 away here in the second. Morrison hitting just .226, but look at the numbers against Cole Hamels. 10 for 25. That's 400 average for Morrison. And he got in on him a little bit. A pop-up down the right field line. Long run for Choo at the railing. And Choo just enough room to stay with it and make the catch. And Cole Hamels has another 1-2-3 inning. The Mariners are gone in the second. After 2, 1-0 Texas.
bat here in the third inning, and I've found some fans who have come from as far away as anyone I can imagine. Maybe not to this stop, because it's not that far from where they live to Seattle, but they are long, far away Rangers fans. It's Van and Barbara Bridges. Where are you from, Van?
Actually born in South Carolina. We spent a lot of time in Texas and moved up to Alaska about a little over 30 years ago.
So I see Van in the hotel in Anaheim, and he says, we watched the game last night. I said, where? He says, our home in Alaska. How did you become Rangers fans? I guess it was that time in Texas?
Back in Wichita Falls in high school is where we first started following the team. We've been going spring training ever since, probably the past 10 years, going down to spring training. Every time on the West Coast we can, we love to follow them and say hi to the teammates. We've met so many people just in spring training, so it feels like family, seems like.
Yeah, and you know us because I was all matted, bedheaded the morning. You saw me, and you knew me right away. You watched the broadcast a lot, too.
Yeah, and Barbara said, no, he doesn't look official or anything. We shouldn't visit with him. I said, it's okay. I know him. I know John. It's good.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, say hi to Buzz and Tom, too. They're listening.
Hey, Buzz and Tom, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thanks for what you do. We really appreciate it up in Alaska.
Unbelievable.
That's
Fans
great.
from Alaska. Isn't that great, guys?
Tremendous.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Joey Gallo led off the inning with a base hit to right field. And now Chris Jimenez up there, the number 9 hitter. Chris, a .255 average. Career high 5 home runs, and he has tied his career high in RBI with 11. Rangers on top 1-0. Walker missing outside, 3 balls and no strikes. So Jimenez trying to get aboard to join Joey Gallo at the top of the order. Will Venable in the on-deck circle. Rangers at the start of play tonight, 2 games behind the division-leading Houston Astros, and only 1 back in the loss column. The Astros playing down the coast in Oakland tonight. Rangers now 5-8 against Seattle this year, and they are 3-4 in this ballpark. Rangers a commanding lead lately here at Safeco Field. There's a strike to Jimenez, and the count is full. Walker leaning in, reading the signs. A check of Gallo at first. Joey on the move. Payoff pitch is fouled away. Reset and try it again. Now the Rangers, going back to 2010, have won 32 of the 54 ball games played in this ballpark. And they have won the season series overall against these Mariners 7 straight years coming into this year. They've got some work to do if they're going to make it 8 straight years. Gallo on the move again. Line drive to right. Backing up, Romero makes the catch, and Gallo picked up the ball, so he knew it was going to be an out. Back to first. He's there with 1 away, and Will Venable coming up. Before Venable steps in, let's send it back to Dana Larson for a Mazda game break. All right, Dana, thank you. Well, the Twins a game and a half behind the Rangers in that second wild card race. Yankees, as you can see, the top spot, 4.5 games ahead of the Rangers. Then the Twins a game and a half back. Angels 3.5 back. Then Cleveland and Tampa Bay. The Rangers can, with a win here tonight and a loss in Kansas City by Minnesota, a little separation between them and the Twins. Venable hit a 1-hop rocket right at Robinson Cano his first time up there. Will now an even 200 with the average as a Ranger. Had his streak of reaching base snapped at 13 to start off his Ranger career. And there's a base hit to center field. Gallo at second will put the brakes on, as O'Malley got to it pretty quickly. A pair of singles here in the third inning, 2 on and 1 out for Shin-Soo Choo.
Yeah, Will found a hole with that soft line drive to center field, and now Chu, who's swinging the bat extremely well, gets an opportunity to do some damage and give the Rangers a bigger lead.
So Gallo at second, Venable at first. Chu hit the ball sharply right down the first baseline, but Logan Morrison gathered it in his first time up. And he takes low and inside for ball one. Chu having a very solid road trip. He has gone 9 for 25. That's a 360 mark. And he has a 4-game hitting streak coming into this ball game. Hit hard, but sliced out of play down the left side. And the count evens at 1-1. Chu with 7 runs driven in his last 13 ball games. He's been driving in runs. He's also been scoring runs. He scored 17 in his last 20 games. Rips that one foul down the first base side. Somewhere in between is where Chu wants to be.
Yep.
Hit the ball hard to left, foul. Hit the ball hard to right, foul.
That last pitch a little more out over the plate. It would have been fair. Just a little bit inside. He just got a little bit out in front of it.
Gallo away from second. Venable from first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now 2-2.
You know, the other thing, Buzz, we're talking about every facet of Chu's game being much better than it was early in the season. The other thing, and this is not scientific, it seems like he's getting pitches slightly out of the strike zone called balls now instead of strikes. I think the last pitch just a little bit out of the strike zone. I've seen that pitch called on him earlier in the year.
No, I agree with you. And, you know, it could be, I think part of it, Tom, is that when he sees a strike now, he's hitting it, he's putting it in play, so he doesn't see quite as many pitches.
Maybe.
Give the umpire the opportunity to call a strike on a pitch that's close. But no, I think you're right. I think he's word. I'm sure word gets around with the umpires like everybody else that this guy's swinging the bat pretty well, so give him some credit. Down the right field line and deep into the corner. Goodbye. And you can't call that anything but a home run. Shin-Soo Choo is 17th home run of the year, a 3-run bolt, and the Rangers lead it 4-0.
Right, if you had to pick one thing that's been missing from the Rangers' arsenal recently, it's been the home run ball. So that is great to see the home run ball early in this ball game account for all 4 runs. Choo stays hot. His average now over 254, which was basically the highest it's been all season long. And he's driving in his share of runs now, too.
64 RBI for Choo.
Well, Buzz, you said it earlier in the broadcast. He's exactly now what the Rangers envisioned when they signed him. And he's hurt last year, never really got it going. This year, just a terrible start in April. Man, not now.
Yeah, Prince Fielder will sacrifice a bat for a base hit. That's Fielder's first hit in his last 5 ball games, and he'll gladly give up that piece of lumber. And he is aboard with a single, and 3 consecutive hits now for the Rangers, including Choo's 3-run home run.
A lot of movement on it, which caused the ball to move right to the end of Prince's bat.
Shin-Soo Choo, 17th home run, 64 runs driven in. And he extends his hitting streak now to 5 straight ball games. And he is, in those 5 games, gone 7 for 16. Rick Waite's pitching coach out to talk to Taijuan Walker.
Definitely trying to pitch Choo in. Trying to jam him with a fastball. And that pitch was in. That was on the inside part of the plate. He pulled one foul earlier in the count. That one he kept fair. He's some kind of player right now. He's doing it all for the Rangers.
I remember you remarking, Tom, in late July, Choo hit a home run at Globe Life Park on an inside fastball.
I remember that.
We had not seen him take an inside fastball and keep it fair down the line for a home run.
Yeah, he'd been getting jammed on it most of the time, or pulling it foul.
Right. And I remember you saying then that was not maybe a turning point, but it's something we haven't seen, and
yeah,
nice to see him do that. Well, he did the same kind of thing here tonight.
Sure did.
Pitch to Beltre, and he takes strike two. Adrian lined out to left field, his first time to the plate. The Rangers 4 runs on 5 hits tonight. Solo home run by Mitch Moreland, a 3-run home run by Shin-Soo Choo. And Beltre, wave and a miss, he is gone for out number 2. Second strikeout for Walker.
A nice curveball from Walker. Doesn't throw it a lot, but it's a pretty good one.
Go with 2 away. Mitch Moreland will come up for his second at bat. Mitch lined his 19th home run of the year. Right on out of here his first time. 1 ball, no strikes. Our AT&T Universe Rewind. Take you back to last inning. Mitch Moreland. Here's that sound.
Boy, that was.
Right center field. That just had no hang time whatsoever.
That was. Ooh, that one almost had less hang time.
But Mitch, you don't see Mitch have a hack like that very often, but his eyes had to get about the size of saucers.
Yeah, I think Mitch is feeling pretty good right now in this at bat.
I think you're right.
He may see tougher pitches than that one, but he's swinging it right now.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now 2-1. Well, Mitch now back to the 290 level with that batting average. 1 RBI short of 70. He's got fielder at first with 2 outs. Up the middle, off the mound, and Marte, a nice pickup. Gets the force at second. That'll do it. But Rangers with 3 runs on 4 hits, including Shin-Soo Choo's 17th home run of the year. And we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's now the Rangers 4 and the Mariners nothing. The season at Globe Life Park. Buckner International presents Christian music sensation David Crowder following the game between the Rangers and the Mariners. Head to TexasRangers.com/concert for game tickets and information on how you can see the David Crowder Show from the field. Line drive to right field, and Choo lost the ball in the lights off the bat of Jesus Montero. It falls in for a single. Choo got a pretty good jump on it and then pulled up as he looked like he couldn't see the ball momentarily.
Yeah, a soft line drive like that looked like it went through the lights. I thought Choo was going to have a chance for it, but right there, something happened to him. Probably went through the lights.
Oh, the first base runner for the Mariners, Jesus Montero, just back up from AAA, gets the leadoff single. Now Sean O'Malley, who is 7 for 10 since being called up to the Mariners. O'Malley getting the start in center field tonight. One-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. O'Malley, a switch hitter. He has reached safely in 12 of his 15 Major League plate appearances this year. Two and one now. Cole Hamels, a strikeout in the first 6 hitters that he faced, and then gave up the leadoff single here in the 3rd inning. First base runner he has had to be concerned with. This is outside, 3-1. O'Malley hitting 8th in the order tonight. Jesus Sucre, the catcher, will follow. Hamels sets. This is outside and low, ball 4. And that's a walk that Cole Hamels will tell you it shouldn't happen. Not leading 4-0 and the 8th hitter up there. But happens to the best of them. 2 on, nobody out. Sucre coming to the plate. Chris Gibbon has a brief visit to the mound. Looked like Cole Hamels wasn't really in the mood to talk to him. Get going back there and call some pitches, will you? Get a pitcher kind of mad at himself and doesn't want anybody talking to him. Well, Sucre, part of the catching tandem that has taken over since Mike Zunino was optioned to AAA. Sucre 8 for 82 this year. That's an .098 batting average. Ball 1. 1 home run, 4 driven in for Sucre. He and John Hicks have combined to hit less than 100 apiece. Up the middle, knocks Hamels to the ground, and Sucre is going to be safe. Hamels, though, it sounded like, got mostly leather on that. Got his glove up just in time. But that a bolt right back to the box. And Cole immediately said, no, go on. I got leather on that thing the whole way. Wow. That's 60 feet, 6 inches from the home plate to the mound.
Boy, that would have been the catch of the year for a pitcher if that ball stayed in his glove. Just glad it is glove and nothing else.
Yeah. That distance gets real short sometimes. It's like the ball kind of ricocheted off his glove, then maybe off his shoulder, and then his jaw. And Hamels says he's okay, and that's great news. The bases are loaded with nobody out. Sucre with the base hit. And back to the top of the order, Ketel Marte up for his second at bat. Here's that changeup for strike 1. Marte began things by popping out to Mitch Morley. Marte also a switch hitter, batting from the right side against Cole Hamels. Hamels jammed him pretty well with that fastball. It's 0-2. Runners in scoring position this year, Marte has been good. .296 average. One of his hits, a double. He has driven in 7. He has the bases full of Mariner teammates. 1-2. Marte, a 5-game hitting streak coming into play tonight. Cole Hamels trying to regroup after getting knocked down by the line drive off the bat of Jesus Sucre. 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging.
Big strike.
That cut fastball, and Hamels gets his second strikeout of the night. And there's one away with Kyle Seager coming up.
Way Marte looked back. He must have touched that ball and tipped it into the glove. One of the hottest hitters in the league right now, Kyle Seager, 19 for his last 40. And a guy that's been hot against the Rangers his whole career.
Seager lines softly to Mitch Moreland in the first. Takes strike one. Seager, a .325 lifetime hitter against Ranger pitching. That goes back to 79 games. He has 13 home runs against the Rangers. Up there with one out, the base is full. Rangers on top by 4. Now back. 0-2. If there's any doubt about the kind of competitor that Cole Hamels is, his feature getting knocked down and getting right back up and getting a strikeout with the bases loaded and then jumping ahead of Kyle Seager. That tells you what goes through his mind. Grit and determination. One ball, 2 strikes. You'll probably say something like the thing that drives him most when somebody says you can't. That makes him even better. Hamels still working from the stretch. The 1-2. Count evens.
Try.
Seager, 22 home runs, 61 RBI this year. Odor, Andrews, the first not in time.
Nice try.
Ball just not quite hit sharply enough. In to score is Montero. Seager, the RBI on the fielder's choice ground out. It's now a 4-1 Ranger lead. But there are 2 outs and runners at the corners.
Now, off the bat, it pretty much looked like this was only going to be 1 out. You know you're going to give up a run, get one of the lead runners. Elvis tried to turn it, came pretty close, closer than it might have looked when that ball was hit. It just wasn't hit hard enough to turn a double play, but glad to get 1 out, even if it meant a run.
Well, Stephen Romero now will step in for his second at bat. Romero went down swinging to end the first inning. That changeup.
That's the right pitch to throw in that count. Kid coming up, young player up from the minor leagues, aggressive, men on base, great pitcher on the mound. He's not looking for a changeup right there. He's looking for a 3-run homer on the fastball.
1 ball and 1 strike. Romero last year had almost half the season with the Mariners, 72 ball games. And Odor takes care of that roller on to first. That'll do it. The Mariners do score, but damage minimized by Cole Hamels. A run on 2 hits and 2 left. After 3, Rangers 4, Mariners 1. wild card leading Yankees. Then the Tigers and Indians square off in a game you can only see on Fox Sports 1. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Central on Fox and 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, the Ranger lead cut by a run. It's now 4-1 Texas. Elvis Andrus to lead things off. He'll be followed by Rougned Odor and Joey Gallo. Elvis saw one pitch first time he faced Taijuan Walker, fly to right field. Elvis, 261 average as Walker goes to work with strike one. Elvis, after getting off to a torrid start on this road trip, now has gone hitless in his last two ball games. He is 0 for 8. This is the second time in the last 64 ball games that's happened to Elvis. That's how consistently hot he has been. 2 balls and a strike. Go back over the last 51 games. Elvis has hit .303. Two balls, 2 strikes. Walker, that abbreviated wind. And Elvis a little tapper that Walker will field and throw high. It's over the head of Morrison down the right field line. Elvis at second will stop there. Romero in from right field to get the ball back in. And that is going to be an error on Taijuan Walker. So Elvis at second to lead off the Ranger fourth.
Well, when the ball was hit, you said, get by the pitcher. Picked it up and you go, well, there's an out. Whoops. Airmailed first base. That's the way to start the fourth inning.
Usually bad things happen when you try and throw flat-footed like that.
Yeah, unless you're Adrian Beltre.
Unless you're Adrian Beltre. That's he's unique. Most mere mortals have a hard time throwing flat-footed like that, and you saw the result of what happened when Taijuan Walker did it. Now here's Odor, and Rougned takes strike one. Rougned called out on strikes his first time up. Elvis at second, nobody out here in the fourth inning. Popped up, foul. Coming back Sucre. That's over the screen, back in the fifth row. 0-2. Rougned, better than half of his last 11 hits have been doubles. He's gotten into the extra base power. Also hit almost .320 in his last 30 ball games. Low and inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, we talk about Rougned making adjustments, coming back to the big leagues from AAA Round Rock. Came back on the 15th of June. And since that time, he has hit .324, and that's 7th highest in the American League over that time span. So that gives you an idea that he has been doing some pretty heavy lifting. This ball hit hard to right field and deep. Romero at the wall. Goodbye. Rougned Odor, a line drive, 12th home run of the year, and the Rangers lead it 6-1.
Well, the Rangers were lacking the long ball until today. Now they have 3 of them. Walker again trying to get this fastball in on a Ranger hitter. Looked like he got it on the inside part of the plate, but Odor's bat is so quick. He just tomahawked this ball right out of here. Never got the inside part of the plate. He got the middle of the plate with that one. Rookie knows that's gone.
Odor driving out his 12th home run of the year, and that hit for Odor drives Taijuan Walker from the game. Lloyd McClendon out to take the ball, and he has called the bullpen for some help. So Rangers on top 6-1. We play here in the fourth inning. Timeout for this pitching change. We're back right after this. is this Friday following the Rangers game with the Oakland A's. Fans using the online coupon code FIREWORKS at TexasRangers.com/specials can get seats for just $14. They're going fast, so don't wait. Get your seats today. Well, the right-hander Jose Ramirez has entered the ball game to take over, and here it's empty base paths with nobody out here in the fourth inning. Rangers leading 6-0. Ramirez first pitch to Joey Gallo is a swinging strike one. Gallo had a base hit his last time up. 0-2 down.
A little bit of heat, 96 miles an hour from Ramirez.
3 home runs tonight for the Rangers, the most in their last 17 ball games. They did the same thing against Seattle back on August the 19th. Last time they had this many round trippers. Ramirez in his 12th ball game of the year for the Mariners. 1-1 record, that 4.11 ERA, and league hitting a lofty 3.02 against him. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Gallo. Line to center. On comes O'Malley, who dives and makes the catch, picking it right off the top of the grass.
That's too bad. That line drive just kept on going. Looked like a line drive over shortstop. It was going to bounce about 20 feet in front of him. He hit that ball so hard it just kept going. And he picked it off O'Malley right off the ground. Robbed Joey the second hit.
Nice play by O'Malley. Well, he got a good jump, and that ball gets by him, and Gallo runs for a while. So 1 out. Here is Chris Jimenez. Jimenez lined to right field, his first time to the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Chris, a .250 average now. Ramirez back to him. And this is blown away. Ramirez came over from the Yankees in a trade that sent Dustin Ackley New York way. That was the day before the trading deadline. Ramirez had pitched in 8 ball games last year for the Yankees. Seager to his left cuts it off and throws out Jimenez. 2 gone. That'll take the Rangers back to the top of the order for Will Venable. Venable 1 out of 2 tonight. Got a single and scored in the 3rd inning. In case you folks were late joining us, Venable batting in the leadoff spot, playing center tonight. The liner to Shields suffered a mild knee strain yesterday, sliding hard into third base. He's listed at day-to-day. Reports from the Ranger clubhouse and from Delino before the ballgame say it feels better today for him than he thought it was going to. So I'm not sure what he thought it was going to feel like, but that it feels better is good. That's a good thing. One ball and 1 strike. Venable with that base hit now up to 226 with his average. Ramirez with a 1-1 pitch. Way inside and hitting.
Well, that must have glanced, because if that 97-mile-an-hour fastball hit him flush on the side of the leg, I don't believe he'd be trotting to first base.
Well, let's see what it did. Ooh.
Grazed off his ankle. Still didn't feel good.
Venable saying something to Logan Morrison down there. He got that kind of smile on his face to hide him gritting his teeth, I think is what it came down to. No, 1-2 out. Here is Shin-Soo Choo now. Choo with a big 3-run home run his last time up. And for those of you who missed this yesterday, here's Delino getting hurt on that hard slide into third base. Helped off the field, Tony Beasley and Matt Lucero. And fortunately, nothing inordinately wrong. Venable going. The pitch is high. The throw is not in time. And Venable, with the stolen base, is into scoring position.
You get the idea of some of the things that Will Venable can do to help you win a ball game. He can play center field. And you get a pretty good jump and steal a base for you, too.
Venable's third stolen base in a Ranger uniform this year.
Thing that Drew Stubbs can do. We talked about them in the pregame show. Two veteran guys who have played center field and add a lot to a ball club. Complementary pieces that can mean a lot in September.
And I would think their ability to be to steal a base for you too, and knowing their veteran instincts of when to do it and when not to do it would help out the cause quite a bit too.
Yep, they've both been there. Stubbs has stolen a lot of bases in his career.
Three balls, no strikes to Shin-Soo Choo. And 3-1. Choo with 17 home runs now, 64 RBI. That batting average at .255. There's ball four. Choo trots on down to first, and Prince Fielder now will come up. Well, that's the first walk that Ranger hitters have been issued tonight. Fielder had a broken bat base hit going the other way with it last time up. He is 1 for 2. Rangers with 6 hits. 3 of them have left the ballpark. And that is the big storyline thus far for this Ranger ball club. The one facet, as Tom told you, that had been missing was the Ranger home run ball. And it came back tonight. In the air to center field. And O'Malley coming on in to make the catch, and that'll do it. The Rangers score 2 more runs. They get 2 runs on 1 hit and strand 2. After 3.5, it's now the Rangers 6 and the Mariners 1. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Mazda. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. Well, the Mariners come to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cole Hamels now with a 5-run advantage. 6-1 Rangers. He'll face Cano, Trumbo, and Morrison. Robinson Cano grounded out sharply to Mitch Moreland his first time up. Saw just 1 pitch. And now he has seen 2. That is in for a strike. Cano, 279 as he faces Hamels for the second time tonight. That's his season average. Chopped slowly foul down the first base side. 0-2. Cano just 2 for 13 in his career against Cole. This, for a left-hander, it has to be a tough guy in Cole Hamels to face. Not with his assortment of pitches, that cutter and hard breaking ball. Also that tailing fastball and get in on a left-hander.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to throw his changeup either. So
nope.
He's got more than a couple ways to get a left-hand hitter out.
Still 0-2. Cano settling back into the box. Hamels, as always, ready to work. Right at Elvis Andrus. One gone. So Cano for 2 as he makes a right turn at first base. Mark Trumbo will be next. Cole Hamels, very economical, 47 pitches through 1 out in the 4th inning. Got Trumbo on a foul pop-up to Chris Jimenez, his first time. Trumbo stepping in with that 9-game hitting streak on the line. 0-1. Mentioned the start that Trumbo got off to. He hit just 139 with the Mariners, coming over the trade with the Diamondbacks. That was in his first 79 at bats, and since then he has hit 294. Line drive down the right field line. It's in for a base hit. Trumbo at first will hang on as Chu gets to the ball quickly. So Mark Trumbo, a base hit, and he extends his hitting streak now to 10 straight ball games.
Trumbo can make contact on pitches out of the strike zone, and there's a pretty good example of it. Soft line drive, but a pitch well out of the strike zone. Snuck it by Mitch.
No, 1-out single has Trumbo aboard, brings up Logan Morrison. Morrison fouled out to Shin-Soo Choo in right field his first time. One ball and no strikes. Look at Morrison in his last 10 ball games, a .314 average. So he is picking things up. Been on that roller coaster here in Seattle this year. Morrison, in his last 62 games, has hit 181. From April 29th to June 15th, before the 62 games, he hit 307. And that was after opening the season the first month, hitting 149. Buckle your seatbelt for this ride. Inside, Hamels now falls behind Morrison. 3 balls and no strikes. Cole, who has walked 1 tonight, falling behind a nemesis of his and Logan Morrison. Three and one. Morrison with 16 home runs this year. That's already more than he hit last year, and more than he's hit in any year since you have to go back to 2011. Hamels 3-1 pitch. Double play ground ball to Odor. Andrews turns it over. And that'll do it. 4-6-3. Thank you very much. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Hamels and the Rangers off the field after 4, leading 6-1.
On a beautiful night for baseball. All the times we've been here to Seattle, I've never been out on Puget Sound to see the city from that perspective, out on the water. But I rectified that today. We went out on a little 1-hour cruise around Elliott Bay. And look, there's the brand new Seattle Great Wheel. That's just been there since 2012. Of course, we found Rangers fans out there. You see what I did there? It's the Curleys and the Martins of Fort Worth. And I put that Texas T right in the middle of the Seattle Great Wheel. So I thought that was pretty good placement of that picture and of those Rangers fans hanging out as we take a look at the pitch to Adrian Beltre there. And then they showed us the Edgewater Hotel, built for the World's Fair in 1962. It was originally built as a hotel where you could actually fish out the windows of the hotel. And, you know, people are fishing out the windows, and they had to stop that as Beltre hits it out there to right field. And that is an out in right field. But they had to stop that because people were just taking the fish that they caught, and they were putting them under the beds and stuff. But before they stopped it, there's the Beatles fishing out the window of the Edgewater Hotel in 1964. It really did happen. They said the fish that you catch are so big out of Puget Sound that there are people putting 10 and 15-pound fish under their bed and then forgetting them, and they smelled really bad. The next guest that came through there, guys.
I'm betting Ringo's not pulling in a 10 or 15-pounder with that fly reel he's got there.
That's a good point.
Oh, man, I stayed at that hotel before. Never fished out the window before. That's a great piece.
Did you know you could?
I don't think I even know I could. I guess it never dawned on me to fish out a hotel window.
Leave it to John to find that out for us. I appreciate that, John. That's great stuff. Call down for room service and say, "Will you send me up about a 15-pound test?" And look at that, the Beatles fishing out the window. That's something. 1964. I think and Moreland, is he going to have two down the line and foul?
That should have been the cover of one of their albums.
Mitch not missing by much.
Boy, I guess not.
Just by that much is all he missed by. Wow. Well, said they come in bunches. For Mitch, that has been the case 3 times this year. He's had a 2-home-run game. Matter of fact, he had back-to-back 2-home-run games at Baltimore. 1-2. And the count evens. Moreland 1 out of 2, batting with the bases empty, 1 away here in the 5th inning. Jose Ramirez on since last inning, came in and got all 3 outs in the 4th. Taijuan Walker started, gave up all 6 runs, 5 of them earned. 3 innings plus 2 hitters in the 4th inning. No walks, 2 strikeouts. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Mitch trying to get aboard with 1 out. Elvis Andrus, the Rangers shortstop, is next. Ramirez leaning in for the sign. The right-hander now has 1. And Moreland pops it up. Seager across the line, just in foul territory, has it. Out number 2. Now Elvis will come up. Andrus reached on an error to start off that 4th inning. Came around to score on Odor's 2-run home run. Elvis now at an even 260 with the batting average. One ball and no strikes. And Ramirez featuring the fastball slider, very basic combination that you have seen him work with tonight. He's a 25-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. He misses down and away. Signed with the Yankees back in 2007 as a non-drafted free agent. Worked his way up to the major leagues. Made his major league debut last year in New York. And that pitch a bit low. 3 balls and no strikes. So Elvis trying to get aboard with 2 outs. Rougned Odor is in the on-deck circle. Three and one. Looking out at the scoreboard, that ball game that Ed had talked about before. There's a drive to left center field. O'Malley, a diving catch again.
Boy, Elvis has hit some balls hard in this series that have been caught.
Good jump and another fine catch by Sean O'Malley in center. Rangers gone in order. We played half the ball game in Seattle tonight. Rangers leading by 5. Thousand fans 14 and older receive the Beltray shirt, and that's sponsored by Snapple and 7-Eleven. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com to see the Rangers take on the A's at Globe Life Park this Sunday. Bottom third of the Mariner order to face Cole Hamels here in the 5th inning. Jesus Montero, who had the first hit of the night off of Hamels, takes a big breaking ball that dips in for strike 1. Montero eventually came around to score the first and only run that Hamels has given up tonight. 1-1. Montero, a .211 hitter. Cole Hamels approaching the 60 pitch level as he works here in the 5th. Hit hard but pulled foul. Count loose to 1-2. Nice play by the ball girl down there.
Yeah, the young girl down the right field line made a nice backhanded play earlier, too.
She's played the carom off that wall before.
Yeah.
Knew exactly where to go. Yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Montero had been called up. You remember the last time the Rangers were here in early August that he had just been recalled by the Mariners. Got off to a very hot start and then cooled off dramatically. He's gone on strikes here as Cole Hamels gets his 3rd strikeout of the night. Now 1 away. Sean O'Malley coming up. Right now we're going to send it back to Dana Larson for a Mazda game break. All right, Dana, thank you.
It's an unlikely home run.
Yeah.
Billy Burns, a left-hand hitter, leadoff hitter, not a power hitter, against a good left-hand pitcher.
Well, good news from Oakland. Good news from further down the coast, too, as the Dodgers have an early lead over the Angels. High and tight. O'Malley spinning out of the way of that pitch. It's 2 balls and no strikes. O'Malley drew a walk, so he's continuing to get on base as a member of the Mariners. 13 out of 16 plate appearances. Now he has reached base. 2 balls and a strike. Beltre gobbling up that ground ball. 2 gone. Now talking about the Dodger Angel game, how about our Kubota Power Stats? Clayton Kershaw working tonight for the Dodgers. Last 5 starts, 3-0 with a rather minuscule 0.9 ERA with 4 walks and 54 strikeouts. How about that walk to strikeout ratio? Wow. Tonight, 4 innings of work, 3 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts for Kershaw. Highland Park alum. And in the bottom of the 5th, the Dodgers leading 2-1 in that ballgame. Jesus Sucre hit a bullet right back at Cole Hamels, and Hamels able to knock it down. It will take you back to that shot. Watch this. Man.
I don't even like watching the replay of that.
No. The only reason I'm okay with it is I know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cole Hamels, that might be one where Cole wakes up about 3 or 4 in the morning in the cold sweats thinking about that thing. 1-2 this time. Popped up. Moreland and Odor. It's Odor calling off Mitch, makes the catch, and that is a 1-2-3 inning the old-fashioned way. We played 5 in Seattle. It's the Rangers 6, the Mariners 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. $100 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Juan Davis from Waxahachie is going to win $2,100. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Juan will take home $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Juan, you might have picked the right night. As a matter of fact, the Rangers already have 3 home runs this evening. The man in your picture has 1 of them. Rougned Odor will lead off the inning. He'll be followed by Joey Gallo and Chris Jimenez. Rangers leading. Jose Ramirez back to the hill.
That's a different Ramirez, isn't it? That's got me deep too. One was 56, 31. They've got a Jose Ramirez and a J.C. Ramirez. So this must be Jose Ramirez. Sorry about that, Jose. We had you pitching the last two innings.
I did.
No, I did too.
Okay. Well, this is Jose then. Okay.
How can you have two Ramirez's on in one bullpen?
Oh,
each throw 96 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's just not fair to the announcers.
And they've each hit a batter now. That's really good. He's plunked by Jose Ramirez.
Oh, if that hit him, it must have just ticked his toe.
Rugnet okay. He's down there. Well, he's showing Hector Ortiz where that ball got him. That foot's going to be a little bit sore. Rugnet trying to run off the pain, make it stop hurting. And he's okay now. He's putting his running mitt on. Keep that. Protect that finger on his right hand, his throwing hand. That nail still not completely healed, so he has to have that protection on there when he runs the bases. A 1 on, nobody out. Joey Gallo is 1 out of 2 this evening. A big swing and a miss. It is strike 1. Gallo singled his first time up. Came around to score on Chu's 3-run home run. Now Ramirez set. This is high and away. And Sucre going to go out and have a little chat with the right-hander. So Gallo settling back in. Joey now with that base hit. Average up to 208. Ramirez ready, a check of first. 2 balls and a strike now. For Gallo, that base hit snapped an 0 for 7 that he'd been on this road trip. Had a couple starts. San Diego out in left field, out there again this evening. 2-2. One on, nobody out. Rangers leading here in the 6th by a 6-1 count. 3-2. Gallo trying to get aboard to join Rugnet Odor, the number 9 hitter, Chris Jimenez. Getting ready and then on deck circle. Ramirez peering in for the side. The right-hander's ready. Gallo fouls it back. Watch Joey during batting practice really working on not swinging at the pitch up. He's been focused on trying to lay off that pitch, even in BP, and I guess that's the only way you can get used to doing it. That one right there is a tough one for him.
Yeah, and that's up a little, but it's in the strike zone, so
Yep.
that's one he has to swing at.
No out number 1, Chris Jimenez now coming up. Yep. Up toward the upper reaches, but
So want a ball higher than that could be called the ball on him.
Jimenez 0 for 2. He's had a ground out and a line drive to right field. Got Rougned Odor at first base. 1 out here in the 6th inning. Rangers 6 runs on 6 hits, 3 of them home runs tonight. A good breaking ball from Ramirez. 0-1.
Well, 2 new bullpen guys we haven't seen. Keep talking about guys coming out of the bullpen throwing 96 miles an hour. Here's 2 more. 96, 97, 98. The Ramirez boys can bring it up there too. Who knows? J.C. Ramirez, his first name might be Jose.
Could be.
We might have been right all along on him. I doubt his real name is J.C.
You don't think?
No.
Okay.
I'm thinking Jose Carlos Ramirez.
1-2 to Chris Jimenez.
Oh, sorry, it's Juan Carlos.
That was close.
Well, maybe Jose Ramirez, his middle name is Carlos, so he could go by J.C. Ramirez.
Interchangeable. 2-2. Chris, a .245 average as he taps his bat on home plate. Rougned Odor, a modest lead at first. Chris able to check his swing on that good breaking ball. The count is full. So Ramirez going 3-2 to both Gallo and Jimenez. Chris trying to get aboard here with 1 out. Will Venable will be the next hitter. Time called momentarily. Looked like Rougned Odor might have been getting down in the starting blocks there at first base. Increased his lead a little bit and started twitching a little bit. Ramirez sets.
Extra runs for the Dodgers, extra runs for Oakland. You know, they say they're not scoreboard watchers. I know we are.
Yeah.
Can't help but look out there.
Rougned on the move. Pitch is outside. Ball 4.
Good throw, Sucre.
Nice throw by Sucre, yeah. Would have gotten him had it not been ball 4. Fans now just figuring out that
they thought he called him safe at second. He was out by 5 feet. Oh, they'll notice there's a guy on first. Great throw by Sucre.
It was.
On a low fastball. There's the tag. It's about as smooth a tag as you can get from Cano right there. Looked like it was infield practice.
Well, 2 on with 1 out. And Will Venable, who is 1 out of 2. I've got a balk called, I believe. Home plate umpire called timeout before the balk was called.
Okay.
Tom Hallion, the crew chief and home plate umpire tonight, made it very clear that he had called time prior to that balk being called. Venable, a base hit. He's also been hit by a pitch. Reached twice and 3 times up there. It takes outside for ball 1. Talking about Venable and that streak that he had starting off his Ranger career, reaching base in 13 consecutive ball games, the first 13 that he played. That was the 3rd longest streak in Ranger history, longest to 15 straight ball games. We'll have that snapped last night. One ball and 1 strike. Odor at second, Jimenez at first. 1 out here in the Rangers 6th. Down the third base line, a fair ball. Odor around third will score. Going to third is Jimenez. He is in with a slide into second with the RBI double as Will Venable. And the Rangers lead it 7-1.
Yep. Will getting a chance to lead off today. He's got a single, a double, an RBI, and a hit by pitch. And he scored a run. Taking advantage of his opportunity. Pretty good pitch right there, down and away. Will just went with it, served it right down the left field line.
Well, Venable with his second RBI as a Ranger. And there are now runners at second and third. The infield for Seattle pulled all the way in with Shin-Soo Choo up there. Swinging strike one. Choo tonight has walked, grounded out, and homered. 3-run blast in the third inning. You got Jimenez at third, Venable at second. Check swing on the breaking ball. 1-1. Michael Guipe, not of the Ramirez clan, is loosening in the Mariner bullpen. Out of play, 1-2 to Choo. Rangers 7 runs on 7 hits tonight. Mariners 1 run on just 3 hits in 5 innings against Cole Hamels. Boy, Choo had that one zeroed in. He waited nicely on the breaking ball and fouled it back. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Two and two. Choo adding another walk to his resume. Came into the ball game 5th in the American League with 26 walks since the All-Star break. Check swing there on the breaking pitch. And the count has gone full. Choo bidding to load the bases if he gets on via the walk. Prince Fielder will follow him. Ramirez okays the sign, the payoff pitch. Ball 4, and the bases are full in our sonic slam inning with Prince Fielder coming up. And it doesn't look like Fielder is going to face Ramirez as Floyd McClendon making a very purposeful walk out to the mound from the Mariner dugout.
He's thrown 25 pitches and only has 1 out.
McClendon takes the ball and he signals for the bullpen, so that's going to do it for Ramirez. He is finished after 2/3 of an inning. Make that 1/3 of an inning. He leaves with the bases full, and Michael Guipe will come in. We will take another timeout. We're back right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. inning. They've also loaded the bases. That's our sonic slam inning. And Michael Guipe, the new pitcher, will face Prince Fielder with the bases full of Rangers. Guipe, who we saw yesterday for an inning, his 13th ball game. He's 0-3 with a rather bloated 7.02 ERA. League hitting .388 against the 25-year-old right-hander who hails from Barcelona, Venezuela.
Well, the stars are aligned for the Sonic winner.
Juan Davis down there in Waxahachie. You fasten your seatbelt. This could be a pretty good ride. Oh, my goodness. Prince Fielder, a towering pop-up. Infield fly rule will be in effect. If Prince had one more shot at that, I think we'd have a $25,000 winner.
Well, he had the swing, the contact. He just got underneath it a little bit. Skied it straight up in the air.
And right about there, Prince has ducked on it. Or something to that effect. So that is out number 2. And Juan, don't give up hope yet. We got Adrian Beltre. Beltre tonight, 0 for 3, but he's hit the ball hard a couple of times. Facing Guipe, and yesterday's ball game, Beltre had a 2-run single just before Guipe got into the act. It was the last hitter that.
Whoa.
Buenos Elias.
Where'd that one come from, Adrian said.
0-1 the count. One ball and one strike. Might be with that split-fingered fastball. It'll do some funny things to you. Beltre is line to left, line to right, and struck out tonight. One and two. '54 career home runs here at Safeco Field. That's the most among active players. Adrian, of course, played for 5 years with the Mariners. Nice stop by Sucre, and like a splitter in the dirt. 2-2. Jimenez at third, Venable at second, Chu at first. 2-2 to Beltre. Got him swinging. Guipe comes in and gets a big pop-out strikeout. And the Rangers leave them full, but they do score a run on 1 hit and 3 left. After 5.5, it's the Rangers 7 and the Mariners 1. strongest fan photo of the night. This one comes to us from Charlene. Charlene, thank you very much. We appreciate sending your photo in. And for you folks who'd like to send yours in, just use hashtag Southwest Data Strong Fan. Your photo might be selected, like Charlene's was tonight, to be on one of our upcoming broadcasts. All this made possible by the good folks at T-Mobile. Well, Cole Hamels now with a 7-1 lead to protect. Ketel Marte goes after the 1-0 pitch and skies to right field, where Shin-Soo Choo hauls it in for out number 1. Marte now 0 for 3. And Kyle Seager will be next. Hamels just allowed 3 hits here tonight. 1 run as the Mariners bunched 2 hits and a walk together in the 3rd inning. Kyle Seager in that frame drove in the only Seattle run with a fielder's choice ground out. Seager now with 62 runs driven in for the Mariners this year. On the outside corner for strike 1.
One thing that Cole prides himself in is pitching deep into ball games, and one thing the Rangers need to continue to do in September is try to have the starter pitch as deeply as he can, so that those late inning bullpen guys continue to stay fresh.
A jam shot single by Kyle Seager. And Seager now with an 11-game hitting streak with that base hit.
Derek Holland has definitely done that in his last 2 starts, 9 innings and 8 innings. Got jammed a little bit. Ball stayed inside, didn't break out over the middle of the plate. Loops it softly into right field.
No 1 on, 1 out. Here is Stephan Romero. Fly ball to right field. That's carrying pretty well. Choo back in the corner has room. About halfway back on the warning track, able to haul it in for out number 2. Back to first is Kyle Seager. And next will be Robinson Cano.
Romero hit that ball pretty well. Got it just about to the base of the wall.
Well, that's the one area in this ballpark that traditionally has carried pretty well to right down the right field line and to straightaway right field. 326 right down the line. It doesn't go out very quickly. So that's a favored area. The ball seems to carry more favorably in that right field area. Robinson Cano 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of ground outs. 1 ball, no strikes. Ranger infield plays Cano around to the right. Maybe 4 or 5 steps. With Beltre well off the line at third. Elvis shading up the middle, and Odor cutting down the hole on the right side. And Odor in perfect position to take care of that grounder. So the 1-out single goes for naught for the Mariners. No runs to hit, 1 man left. After 6, Rangers 7, Mariners 1. Started with Mitch Moreland in the second inning. His 19th home run of the year got the Rangers on the board 1-0. And then Shin-Soo Choo unloaded number 17. A 3-run blast. Rangers leading 4-0 after that. And Rougned Odor with his 12th of the year in the fourth inning. A 2-run blast. And the Rangers have opened up a 7-1 lead as they come to bat here in the seventh inning. And Mitch Moreland will lead things off. Mitch 1 out of 3 with that home run. Quite big. It's a swinging foul off to the left. It is 0-1. Now Mitch at 289. Now the team leader with 19 home runs. Already established a new career high with those 69 RBI. Looking to get over 70 here shortly. 1 ball and 1 strike. Guaipe came on in a pretty tough situation in the sixth inning with bases loaded. He got a pop out from Prince Fielder and then struck out Adrian Beltre to minimize the threat. Ahead of Moreland leading off the seventh inning, a ball and 2 strikes. We'll try it again after the foul ball. Mitch back in the batter's box. Infield, playing Moreland maybe straight away. Maybe a step to the right. Morrison. Underhands to Guaipe covering. That is out number 1. Elvis Andrus will be next, but first of all, we're going to send it back to Dana Larson for a Mazda game break. All right, Dana, thank you. Well, good news continuing to pour north from both Oakland and Anaheim. Rangers could very easily pull even with the Astros in the loss column with a win tonight. An Astros loss. 1 game separating them right now, and that would cut the overall deficit to just 1 game. Boy, the Astros really had a tough time on the road the last month and a half. They are 7-21. Elvis checking his swing, he went around. And the count is 1-1. Rangers making up a lot of ground in the last several weeks against the Astros. They have gained 6 full games over the last 35 days.
Wow.
Against Houston. Started out 8 games back, and they're now 2 games back with a chance to go 1 back.
Sounds a lot like what happened to the Rangers a couple of years ago.
Yeah, to Oakland. You're right. Marte throws out his counterpart. That was retired, and that is out number 2. Well, folks, on Wednesday, the 16th of September, come on out and help red out the ballpark in a pivotal AL West showdown against the Astros. It's also one of just 2 chances left this season to enjoy Dollar Hot Dog Night. Don't wait to get your tickets for this important matchup. The Astros and the Rangers, and you and your Dollar Hot Dogs. TexasRangers.com. 2 up, 2 away in the 7th. And Rougned Odor, who was hit by a pitch and scored his last time up. Also homer tonight, a 2-run blast. 1 for 2 officially. Rougned now at 276 with a batting average, a dozen home runs, 47 RBI. 0-2. Guaipe, okay's the sign. Big right-hander set, the 0-2 pitch. Waipe goes 6'4", now 235 pounds. Up this year for his first foray at the major league level. Signed by the Mariners back in 2006. 1-2. Rugden ready. Waipe back towards pitch. Waipe with his second strikeout, the 5 hitters that he has faced. A 3-up, 3-down, 7th. We'll take the stretch in Seattle with the Rangers leading 7-1. Two more games after tonight here in Seattle. You have tomorrow night and then Thursday afternoon. Then it's back home to start a 10-game homestand. Oakland in for 3. The Astros in that big 4-game set beginning next Monday. And then these Mariners in that following weekend. Those are crucial games coming up for the Rangers. And as Jeff Bannister says, they're all crucial this time of year.
Yep, every one of them.
Mark Trumbo starting things off against Cole Hamels here in the 7th inning. Trumbo has a base hit in 2 trips. No balls and 2 strikes. The base hit that Trumbo had was a fastball away that he just reached out and poked to right field. Didn't hit it sharply, but got in a pretty good spot. Facing Hamels for the 3rd time. Cole still just 76 pitches as he's working here in the 7th inning. 1-2. Tony Zick, right-hander, throwing in the Mariner bullpen. 1-2 to Trumbo. Top down the 3rd baseline. Beltre will let it roll. It hits the bag. It's a fair ball, and Trumbo has his 2nd hit of the night. Well, Adrian playing very deep against Trumbo, which you would figure, and a little topper like that, not much he could do.
Trumbo, as we mentioned earlier in the game, he swings at a lot of pitches, and that one was so far out of the strike zone. That's about all the contact he could make with it. Adrian did the right thing. He's not going to throw him out, so he let it go just to see if it would roll foul. Never did.
He had about another 15 feet. It would have rolled foul, but didn't have 15 feet.
No.
Just the 5th hit of the night against Cole Hamels. Leadoff single. Logan Morrison now. Morrison grounded into a double play his last time up. Cole will see if he can make it 2 for 2. Said he got the pop up on the first pitch. Jimenez coming back with the ball's back 6 rows over the screen. 0-1. Morrison, along with the ground ball double play, is fouled out to right field. 0 for 2 tonight. Hitting at .225. Cole Hamels setting for his 80th pitch of the night. 0-2. Fewest pitches Cole Hamels has thrown in a Ranger uniform this year, 96. That was against the Tigers in Detroit in 6 innings. He's already working in the 7th for these Mariners. Morrison reaching out to slap that one foul. Seems like Cole Hamels has gotten better and better each time out with the Rangers.
Well, each one of his starts against Seattle's gotten better for sure. 6 innings, 4 runs, 7 innings, 3 runs, and this one has the potential to be much better than those 2 games. I agree with you, Buzz. His last 4 games, ERA is under 3. Strong game in San Diego on this trip.
The Rangers have won each of his last 4 outings. All low-scoring affairs. The Rangers have scored exactly 4 runs in the last 4. Tonight, a little bit different. 7 runs on the board. And Hamels didn't have a whole lot of run support to work with when he was in Philadelphia either. Less than 4 runs per game. He had the 8th lowest in the National League. 8th lowest run support. Two balls and 2 strikes to Morrison. Ranger infield a couple of steps around to the right. The outfield playing Morrison slightly the opposite way. Pretty big gap in right center field. Venable playing about 6 steps over toward left center. Hamels a check of first. Solidly hit foul ball. Still 2-2.
It had the potential to hit someone pretty solidly too in the front row. Whoever got hit probably got screened by the guy who reached out and fanned on it. Well, if it was her, she's smiling anyway.
Hamels back to the plate. Hit well to center field. That is up the alley and deep. 1 hop and over the wall into the bleachers. A ground rule double. And that means Trumbo is going to have to stop at third. No, at least for the moment, Rangers have been saved a run as that ball was blistered by Logan Morrison. His 14th double of the year.
Morrison has good at bats against Cole. He came into the game 10 for 25. He adds a hit and a 1 for 3 so far in this game. Cole got that ball right in the middle of the plate, not where he was trying to throw that one.
So an infield single, a ground rule double. Second and third, nobody out. Jesus Montero, 1 out of 2 this evening, steps in. 1 ball and no strikes. Ranger infield, as you would expect with a 7-1 lead, playing back. Certainly give up the run for an out here in the 7th inning. Montero's single was leading off the 3rd inning. He came around to score the first Seattle run. And he lines one to left for a base hit. In to score is Trumbo. Morrison stops at third. It's a 7-2 Ranger lead. And the Mariners making some noise here in the 7th inning. Have a run in, runners at the corners and nobody out for Sean O'Malley. And And Mike Maddox making the walk out to the mound as the Ranger bullpen starts to heat up. And while we have a moment here, let's send it back to Dana Larson for a Mazda game break. All right, Dana, thank you. Now Cole Hamels getting a little breather and see if he can refocus. Mike Maddox out there talking to Hamels and to Chris Jimenez. 3 consecutive hits to open up this 7th inning. 2 singles and a double. And Sean O'Malley now will step to the plate. O'Malley has walked and grounded out. 0 for 1 tonight. Keone Kela. Nice to see Keone back up and throwing. Had that elbow scare, as he put it. And it's fine. Nothing major. Check swing by O'Malley. The pitch outside for ball 1. O'Malley walked in the 3rd. Rounded out to Adrian Beltre in the 5th inning. To right field. Chu has it lined up. Makes the catch. Tagging at 3rd is Morrison. He will score. Crosses home plate with the 3rd Mariner run of the night. And Sean O'Malley with the RBI on the sacrifice fly. It's a 7-3 Ranger lead.
Well, 1st and 3rd, no outs, infield back. It's going to be hard to keep that run from scoring. So it's nice to get 1 out, even though the run did score. Got some runs to give, but want to get those precious outs too.
Now here's Jesus Sucre. Sucre had an infield hit as he hit one right back to Cole Hamels. He had a bullet back to Hamels, and Hamels literally was knocked down by the force of the drive. Went for an infield single. For Sucre, that was just his 9th hit of the year. He is now 9 for 84. Out of play to the right, nothing into the count.
Well, if getting over 200 is getting over the Mendoza line, what line did he get over?
Well, I don't know.
The 100 line. I don't know anyone hit 100. Had to be a pitcher.
Oh, a lot of pitchers hit under
100?
100, yeah. Yeah.
Well, if a position player was around 100, he wouldn't be a position player.
That's a fair ball down the 3rd baseline. It caroms right out to Gallo. Gets the ball back in quickly. Sliding in safely is Montero at 3rd. A double by Jesus Sucre. His 2nd hit of the night. And the Mariners now have 4 hits in the inning, and they are making some serious noise.
Sucre lighting it up. Got to be one of the few times this year he's had 2 hits in a game. Right down the line, it stayed fair. Joey might have had a play at 2nd base on Sucre. Fairly close play at 3rd. Sucre running to 2nd. Might have had a play, huh?
Well, still just 1 out now. 2nd and 3rd for the top of the order. Ketel Marte takes low for ball 1. Marte 0 for 3 tonight. A pop out, a fly out, and a strikeout. Again, Rangers playing the infield back. Still have a 4-run lead. It's out of play to the right. 1-1. So Cole Hamels now over 90 pitches, working up toward 95, the next one that he offers. Up the middle, that's going to get the run home. Odor throws out Marte. In to score is Jesus Montero. It's a 3-run inning, and the Ranger lead now is just 3. It's 7-4, Texas. On to 3rd went Sucre, and Marte with his 8th run driven in this year. Jeff Bannister and Mike Maddox keeping an eye on things. And you don't want him to get too much further along in this inning. Kyle Seager, the second hitter, up there with a runner at third and 2 outs.
I'd prefer to go to the 8th with a 7-4 game. 4 hits in the inning. And by the bottom of the order, too.
Yep.
Although Trumbo and Morrison got it started. Montreal and Sucre both had a hit.
Hamels with a couple of 7-pitch innings. And a couple of 20-plus innings tonight. That pitch outside to Seager. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Seager a single in 3 trips. Jake Diekman and Keone Kela in that Ranger bullpen. Well, you've got Romero, a right-handed hitter, due next, and Cano will follow him. Seager hits it well to center field. Venable has room in front of the track, makes the catch, and that will do it. Mariners come up with 3 runs on 4 hits. They leave 1. We'll move on to the 8th inning. It's now the Rangers 7 and the Mariners 4. Shin-Soo Choo, who hit his 17th home run of the year. A 3-run blast, and that has made a big difference for the Rangers. That was in the 3rd inning. Put the Rangers up 4-0 at that point. And it is the difference in the ball game right now as the Mariners have come back to make it a 7-4 lead. Our TXU Energy power player, Shin-Soo Choo, tonight. They're dancing in the aisles at Safeco. Ranger fans having a great time. Now we head to the 8th inning, and Tony Zych has entered the ball game, his 3rd appearance of the year for the Mariners. So Zych becomes the 5th pitcher used by Floyd McClendon tonight. Opponents hitting .300 against Zych. And he will face Joey Gallo to start things off. Gallo, the 8th hitter, and he'll be followed by Chris Jimenez, then back to the top of the order, and Will Venable. Zych, a 25-year-old right-hander, is out of Illinois. Came over from the Chicago Cubs right at the end of spring training this year.
Another 97-mile-an-hour guy. We've seen 3 new guys throwing 97 or 98. The Ramirez boys and Tony Zych now. White Bay was pretty close to it.
Joey Gallo is 1 for 3 tonight. Gallo singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Lined to center field in the 4th and struck out in the 6th. Zick with a 1-1. That ball is hammered to right field. Going back is Romero. It is gone.
He threw him a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, then hung a slider to him, it looked like. That's getting one of those 3 back.
Joey Gallo with his 6th home run at the big league level. And he gets one of those runs back. It's now an 8-4 Ranger lead. Yeah, good for Joey Gallo.
I don't know if it was a slider or not. Maybe it was a changeup. Whatever it was, it went a long way. It stayed up in the air a long time, too.
Well, the Rangers with 4 home runs tonight. The latest by Joey Gallo, as he's able to go into that home run trot fairly early in the flight of that ball. High and tight to Chris Jimenez. Gallo, who had 14 home runs but hit just 195 at AAA after leaving the Rangers the end of June. Good to see him back and getting some positive results. Jimenez taking the sinker in for strike. 2-1. Chris has walked, lined out, and grounded out tonight.
Yeah, the fastball that Zick threw to Joey Gallo was 97. The pitch he hit out was 91. So it was some type of an off-speed pitch, I guess.
Trumbo coming in to call off Ketel Marte and makes the catch. That is out number 1. Hard to tell anymore. Guys throw changeups at 3 or 4 miles an hour different than their fastball, or that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Or some guys feel that a 2-seamer, they don't try to throw as hard as their 4-seamer.
That might have been that might have been what it was.
Could have been. Whatever it was, went about 390 feet once Gallo got through with it. Here's Venable. And Will takes a knee-high strike. 4 home runs tonight by the Rangers. That ties the season high. Last time they did it at Baltimore on June 30th.
Joey's had a couple of hits in the game and then hit a bullet to center field that O'Malley made a nice sliding catch on. Or he could have had 3 hits tonight.
Yep.
Good game for Joey.
2 for 4 and hit the ball hard 3 times. Will Venable has a 2-hit night. He's 2 for 3. Ahead of the count now, 2 balls and a strike. Venable with that average in a Ranger uniform back up to 250. Right back to Zick. 2 gone. Well, folks, make sure and keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and a lot more. Visit MLB.TV today. So 2 gone here in the Ranger 8th inning. And Shin-Soo Choo up once again. Choo has homered, walked a couple of times. He is 1 out of 2 tonight. And fouls off that pitch from Zick. 0-1. But Choo continuing to up that on-base percentage. He was 2nd in the American League since the All-Star break with a 437 on-base percentage, and that has gone up tonight. Got turned around by that Zick fastball. 1-1. Zick back to the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Slowly hit by Zick. Charging Cano, the underhand flip or the glove flip. And he gets Chu by less than a half step. That'll do it for the Rangers. But Joey Gallo led off the 8th inning with his 6th home run of the year. A blast to right. Rangers get a run on a hit. Nobody left. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Rangers by 4.
As they tried to win 2 in a row from the Mariners, and at the first 2 of a 4-game series to be played here in Seattle. The end of the longest road trip of the season, and game 3 of 4 comes your way tomorrow when Shin-Soo Choo will try to stay hot and keep these Rangers bats hot as well. AT&T U-verse reminds you that tomorrow night's game is a late one as well. Rangers live at 8:30. The game comes your way at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Stay up late with us for another great night of Rangers baseball tomorrow, guys.
All right, John, thank you very much. Well, we head to the bottom of the 8th, and Jay Diekman, hard-throwing left-hander, is on the hill for the Rangers. He will face Romero, Cano, and Trumbo here in the 8th. Rangers leading 8-4 now. Jake, in his 17th ball game in a Ranger uniform. He came along with Cole Hamels at that trade deadline deal. And a new left fielder is Drew Stubbs, takes over for Joey Gallo. Well, if you're Joey Gallo, you hit a home run and get taken out of the ball game. No, it's just defensive substitution for the Rangers. And Diekman pumps in strike 1 to Romero, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Strikeout, ground out, and fly ball. Romero hitting at .214. Diekman comes back to him with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
100. Haven't seen one this year.
Cool weather
for a Ranger.
Jake Diekman apparently got real good and loose out in the bullpen. There's another one for you. I'll warm up the environment here at Safeco Field. Diekman with that 188 ERA. This is high and away. He's 16 outings prior to tonight. He's been scored upon twice. Once the 15th of August and once the 11th of August. Other than that, nada. Out of play as he took something off. Got 99, wanted to throw a strike. Still 2-2. Diekman taking over for Cole Hamels. Cole went 7 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts tonight. And the pitch is low. 3-2 to Romero. So Romero leading off the 8th inning, trying to get aboard. Robinson Cano will follow. Jake Diekman back to the plate.
That was a ball. Not as far inside as I thought it was. He kind of leaned out and brought the bat back. I think that ball would have gone very far if he hit it, though.
No, I don't think so.
Of course, they started their 3-run inning last inning with a ball that didn't go too far. Trumbo dribbled one down the third baseline, ignited a 3-run rally.
Another payoff pitch. It's pop foul. That'll reach the seats. Moreland over to take a look, but it's 7 rows back. Jake Diekman is 6'4" and 205 pounds or so, out of Nebraska. Came up with the Phillies originally in 2012. Outside ball 4. And Romero works a leadoff walk. Diekman just his 5th walk in 14 in the 3rd innings. Cano to the plate. Robinson 0 for 3 tonight, all 3 groundouts. Cano at 278 for the year with the average. 14 home runs, 12 of them, though, have come in the second half of the season. He takes strike 1. Diekman, a belt high set. Fires strike 2.
What the heck did he think that ball was? Pitch was right in the center of the strike zone.
It sounded low to him.
Maybe he said to the umpire, "Did you really see that?"
Could have. 0-2. Good news from Oakland is the A's shut out the Astros tonight 4-0.
Sonny Gray, 7 innings.
Gray. Well, he is having some kind of year for a ball club that really is struggling. And there's the updated standings. Rangers and Astros now tied in the loss column. Game and a half back overall with a win tonight. Rangers would pull to within 1 game of the Houston Astros. Rangers have not been a game back since April. Fouled down. April 18th, as a matter of fact, last time the Rangers were within 1 game of first place. But some work to do here. Bottom of the 8th inning, 1 on and nobody out. Jake Diekman facing Robinson Cano. That ball is ripped to right center field. The ballpark is not going to hold that. Cano, the 2-run home run. It's an 8-6 Ranger lead.
That guy can hit, boy. Went quietly the first 3 times up, took 2 pitches for strikes, timed the fastball, and then ripped it.
Cano's 15th home run of the year. And his 13th since the 1st of July. That is just the 2nd home run off of Jake Diekman as a Ranger, and that's going to be all for Jake tonight. He gives up a walk, a 2-run home run, and the call has gone out for Keone Kela. So it's now a 2-run game. The Rangers leading 8-6. Kela coming in. We'll take a timeout. We're back right after this. Well, 8-6 now the score. Rangers on top. Keone Kela dealing to Mark Trumbo. And the first pitch was high, as our Fox tracker is showing you. 1 ball, no strikes. Kela appearing for the first time in the last 6 days. Going outside to Trumbo. It's 2-0. Keone last worked on the 2nd of the month down in San Diego. Worked an inning, had a strikeout. 61st appearance of the year for the 22-year-old. Fastball right down through there. 2-1. Trumbo tonight is 2 for 3. And a little topper down the third baseline that hit the bag for a base hit last time up. Also singled to right field and fouled out. Now the count evens to Trumbo at 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Mariners making some noise here in the last couple of innings. They were trailing 7-1 in the 7th inning. They scored 3 runs against Cole Hamels. Dave Diekman took over to start the 8th inning, a walk and a 2-run Robinson Cano home run. That made it an 8-6 Ranger lead.
Yeah, you never know in baseball. Look at 7-1 with Cole on the mound, kind of cruising through the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, that everything was well in hand, but Mariners had other ideas.
Got him swinging. Good breaking ball from Keone Kela for the strikeout.
That curveball's become a strikeout pitch for him. Got ahead in the count and then dropped this one on Trumbo. Nice pitch.
So Kela with a strikeout. Now he'll face Logan Morrison. Morrison had a ground rule double his last time up. He had a line drive to the warning track in right center field that hopped into the seats. 1 out of 3. Started him off with a breaking ball, and Morrison was not expecting that. Kind of smiling. Somebody said something like, well, even if he had been expecting it, wouldn't have been any good. Kela ready, the 0-1. That home run, by the way, to Cano snapped the streak of 9 straight scoreless innings put up by the Ranger bullpen. Still only 8 runs in the last 30 innings of work, 29 innings. One ball and 2 strikes. Now 2-2.
To the changeup that time. Seems like he threw more changeups earlier in the year. Now he's going more fastball, curveball. Curveball's been a really nice pitch for him.
Yeah, especially when he's gone to it early in the count. First pitch, second pitch, and being able to get it over the plate most of the time. It's been very, very effective for him. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Morrison. Now 3-2. Morrison hitting 6th in the order. Jesus Montero, the designated hitter, is close to the on-deck circle. Jeff Bannister working that gum over pretty well, and all of a sudden, the skipper had got a little tense here in the late innings. Kela okays the sign. He is set. Payoff pitch on the way. Tough hop, but played nicely by Mitch Moreland. That is out number 2.
Well, one of the goals now is to keep as many people off base as you can to keep them from getting back to the middle of the lineup in the 9th inning. Big out for Keone, 2 up, 2 down. Get Montero, and then you have a potential 8-9-1 in the 9th inning.
Yeah, you do not want to see Cano in the 9th inning if you can avoid it.
And rather not see Seager, too.
Yeah.
If you can help it.
Montero, big swing and a miss, 0-1. Jesus Montero in his first big league action the last couple of weeks. 2 for 3 tonight. He has scored a couple times. He has driven home a run, a pair of singles. Good breaking ball, 0-2. Keone grew up here in the Seattle area. Happy to get back on the mound. Good pitching there. Missed it low.
Montero's looking like, what happened? There you go. Chris tried to call timeout. Didn't get the timeout.
A ball and 2 strikes. Breaking ball got him swinging.
I'd say he was overmatched.
That was a mismatch. Ocala comes in, gets a couple of strikeouts. The Mariners are gone, but they scored twice on Robinson Cano's 2-run home run. Keone Keller restores order. We're going to the 9th inning in Seattle. Rangers by 2. Would love to add a little insurance here, and they will face the veteran left-hander Joe Beimel. Beimel appearing in his 44th game of the year for the Mariners. 2-1 and at .466 ERA for the left-hander. .279 the league has hit against Joe Beimel. Rangers roughed him up the last time they saw him, and Beimel had been overused at that juncture. Just didn't have a whole lot to work with at that point.
Yeah, that .466 ERA is .466 because that one game you're talking about.
That's right.
Not sure what that meant to the ERA, but probably fairly significant.
Prince Fielder will start things off. The Mariners go into the overshift with Prince up there. The first pitch from Beimel is a little bit low for ball 1. Kyle Seager, the third baseman, plays the second base position, closest to second base on the right side of the infield. Cano playing between Seager and Morrison in that alignment. Ketel Marte, the shortstop, remains in his normal position. 2-0. Fielder tonight is 1 for 4. Had a single back in the third inning. Bimel's next pitch to Fielder. And that is in at the knees. Fielder 6 out of 17 lifetime against Joe Bimel. He has by far the most at bats of any Ranger against the left-hander. A couple of those hits for Fielder have left the ballpark against Bimel. And 3-1 now the count. So Prince trying to get aboard to start this ninth inning. Adrian Beltre will be next. Rangers 8 runs on 8 hits tonight. The Mariners 6 runs on 9 hits. Rangers committed the only defensive miscue tonight. And ball 4 is low and outside. Bimel walks the leadoff man. Fielder trots on down to first, and here comes Beltre. Fourth walk issued by Seattle pitching tonight against the Rangers. And Hanser Alberto has come off the Ranger bench. He'll pinch run for Prince Fielder. Alberto carrying what would be a very big insurance run out there at first base. First pitch to Beltre is low. I hope somebody informed Hanser Alberto about the move that Joe Bimel has, because it's a good one. And judging from that lead, somebody did mention it because it's not a real aggressive lead. Beltre 0 for 4 this evening. A couple of strikeouts and a couple of lineouts at the outfield. Adrian at 266 with the average. One ball and one strike. Beltre has had pretty good success against Bimel. 3 out of 7 with a home run. Out of play to the right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big ovation. Oh, what a great catch in the stands. Taking the Tom Grieve approach. Make sure you bring your glove and use it.
You got a shot. Look how happy that guy is. He's happier than his little boy. It's a good looking glove he's got too. It's a Rawlings model. He makes the gold glove. Give him a gold glove for that. How'd that miss him?
I don't know.
Oh, well, stay at home. You got a chance to drive him in now instead.
Beltre has quick feet, but that avoided them somehow.
He practices that dance step on every inside pitch he takes.
Got away from Sucre, so Alberto down to second. He's there with nobody out. 2-2 the count to Adrian Beltre. Bimel, a check of second. And Beltre grounds one off the glove of Seager. That's going to allow Alberto to go on over to third.
We haven't seen that, I don't think, in 2 years.
It's going to be scored an error on Kyle Seager. Yeah, you're right. You might as well just write that one up in your scorebook.
If it goes to third, that's what we do. We put our pencil down and mark it an out. That was a pretty easy play for Seager. It looked like he looked up on it, just didn't catch it.
Well, the second Mariner error of the night. Rangers with runners at the corners, nobody out. Mitch Moreland is stepping to the plate.
Well, each time, the first 2 times anyway, that Seattle scored, the Rangers came back and scored, and they're trying to do it again here in the 9th inning. Answer each time.
0-1. Mitch 1 for 4, had that home run that got the scoring started for the Rangers tonight. That was back in the 2nd inning. Mitch trying to put the ball in play somewhere. Get Alberto home from third base. He had runners at the corners, nobody out. Rangers trying to advance their lead. It stands at 2 runs right now. 1 ball and 1 strike. Moreland 1 for 1 against Beimel with a walk. That one, a home run. Beimel ready. And Mitch takes the breaking ball outside. 2 balls and a strike. Mariners now have moved their infield to somewhere inside halfway. Cattell Marte, the shortstop, playing almost at the cut of the grass. Robinson Cano playing a little bit deeper. And with nobody out, trying to cut Alberto down if he takes the run on contact approach. His hands are down there at third. Tony Beasley, as always, will flash the signs out, then walk over and say something to Alberto to alert him to what might be coming. Fastball, the outside corner, 2-2 to mid. Beimel peering in for the sign. He picks one out and sets at the belt. Pitch. Checking his swing, and the appeal down to third, and no swing is the ruling down there by Alfonso Marquez. So the count has gone full. Mitch Moreland hitting 5th in the order. Elvis Andrus will be next. Beimel, a check of first. The payoff pitch on the way. Instead, it's a toss to first, and Beltre not going anywhere. Now Beimel set once again. Little cat and mouse game going on. Beltre not having any of it. Meanwhile, Mitch waiting at the plate. 3-2 with nobody out. Skied to shallow right center field.
Boy, did he just miss that one.
Romero makes the catch. Alberto bluffs a move and stays put at third. That is out number 1. That thing way up in the stratosphere.
Yeah, he timed it, had a great swing, and kind of like Prince earlier in the game, just got underneath this ball. High strike. Good swing. Just popped it up.
So with Elvis Andrus coming up, Lloyd McClendon, Mariners skipper, out to the mound. And he will take the ball from Beimel, and no doubt wants a right-hander to come on in to face Elvis. So runners at the corners, one out here in the top of the ninth inning. Rangers leading 8-6. We'll take a timeout for the pitching break. We're back right after this. Grew up in Bernie and pitched his college ball down at Texas A&M. On now for the Mariners. He takes over with runners at the corners and one out here in the ninth inning. Gensing appearing in his ninth game. League hitting just .207 against him. Signed as a minor league free agent back on May the 13th with the Mariners.
We'd love to have a big inning, but for sure you want to have a one-run inning. Had that insurance run right here. Elvis needs to hit one of those hard balls to the outfield that he's been robbed on recently. You get a sacrifice fly anyway. He had that ball in the game yesterday, a one-hop smash that Marte turned into a double. Was it a double play or force a double play? Turned into a double play. With, man, it looked like it was going to be a couple of RBIs.
Safety squeeze, and fortunately it was a safety squeeze. Alberto waiting until the ball got down to really take his running lead. Watch Alberto anticipating the bunt being put down. That's what you're supposed to do with that runner down there, right?
Yeah.
Get that walking lead. And
yeah, it's kind of a tricky play for the runner at third base. You have to get a good enough jump to where you can score on it, but you don't want to go too soon and get picked off, or too soon and have it bunted hard to somebody and be an easy out. It takes a little bit of finesse at third base if you're the runner.
The 0-1. Elvis 0 for 4 tonight, but he did reach on an error in the fourth inning. Came around to score. Gensing gets a pitch on the inside corner. 0-2. Gensing originally with the then Florida Marlins. They drafted him out of A&M the second round of the 2003 draft. He's seen time at the big league level with also Washington and Colorado. No balls, 2 strikes to Elvis. Gensing, a high set, is kind of freezing everybody.
Thought he got stuck. Thought my picture froze or something.
We'll reset, start it all over again. It's a Low chopper, the second for one. Cano's throw not in time.
No way.
Elvis able to beat out the return throw in to score. Hanser Alberto. A huge insurance run. It's now a 3-run Ranger lead. 9-6. Elvis with the RBI.
Yep. Fortunately, Elvis hit that ball slowly enough that they couldn't turn a double play. They've made a great attempt to turn a double play. Seager gets rid of it quickly with something on it. And Cano, you'll never see another second baseman go about it quite like that. But he got it there quickly, but not quickly enough to get Elvis.
So Elvis drives in his 51st run of the year, and that is a very big one. Rangers now with a 3-run advantage. And here's Rougned Odor. Rougned a home run in 3 official trips tonight as he takes inside for ball 1. And Sean Tollison along with Sam Freeman. Well, you would think Tollison if it's a save situation and possibly a 4-run lead. Sam Freeman in the other cases. 1-0 pitch to Odor. Down at his shoe tops. Rougned, along with the 2-run home run back in the 4th inning, was hit by a pitch in the 6th and scored. So he has crossed home plate a couple of times tonight. 1 on, 2 out, a run across here in the 9th inning. Gensing gets a swinging strike. It's 2-1. Gensing had 19 outings this year at Tacoma, which is a AAA affiliate of the Mariners. He went 2-0 with a 2.23 in the Pacific Coast League. Right-hander with that high set, and he drives Elvis back. Rangers now 9 runs on 8 hits. They have scored in this inning without the benefit of a hit. And a walk, an error, and a fielder's choice ground out. That time, Rougned able to lay off it. 3 balls and a strike. Odor hitting 7th, trying to extend this 9th inning. Drew Stubbs came on as a defensive replacement for Joey Gallo. He is in the on-deck circle. Gensing gets that breaking ball over. 3-2. So now with 2 outs, Elvis get the advantage of a running start from first base. Yeah, Rougned can't hit one in a gap and let Elvis just keep on going. Gensing set. Elvis on the move. Payoff pitch. Pop foul back our way. We will reset and try it again. Fox tracker showing you Gensing pretty much working the inner part of the plate to Odor. Still 3-2. Elvis getting a little road work in out there. Odor at 275 with the average. 12 home runs, now 47 RBI. Going to see an 8th pitch of this at bat coming up. Got him swinging. Gensing gets the strikeout. That'll do it for the Rangers, but they get a very important insurance run on no hits, an error, 1 man left. It's tally time once again at Safeco. Rangers leading 9-6. Closer on for the second straight day. Got his 30th save in 32 opportunities in yesterday's ball game. Out there again today. Tollefson with that save yesterday becomes just the 9th different pitcher to have 30 save seasons with the Rangers. 16th time it's been done. Joe Nathan, the last, had 43 back in 2013. Tollefson has converted 5 straight and 17 of his last 18 save opportunities. And you go back to the 20th of May when he took over the closer's role, the 30 saves, the most in the American League by a closer. So on here to face Sean O'Malley to start things off. Jesus Sucre and Ketel Marte will follow. O'Malley takes strike 1. O'Malley 0 for 1 tonight. Also had a sacrifice fly along with a walk, and Tollefson deals in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tollefson in yesterday's ball game gave up a leadoff single in the 9th to Robinson Cano. But then got Seth Smith, Logan Morrison, and Brad Miller in succession to wrap up that Ranger 3-0 win. And a 3-run lead to protect here tonight. Got him swinging.
Good assortment of pitches there. Sean came in, dropped a changeup in for a strike, and got him with another off-speed pitch for strike 3. A little bit of everything in that at bat. Wasn't able to make contact. First batter up, first batter out, trying to have a 1-2-3 inning, keep the middle of the order from hitting.
Now Brad Miller will come off the bench now and pinch hit for Jesus Sucre. Miller, a .255 average. And the first pitch to him is fouled out of play. Tollefson, as I mentioned, faced Miller in yesterday's ball game. He got the final out of the game. Got Miller to ground out to second base. Tollefson reading the signs, the high set. The pitch fouled back, 0-2. So Tollefson coming out, pumping in strike after strike. He has Miller down in the count at 0-2.
If the Rangers hang on and win this game, it will be like the perfect storm of results. Every single team that the Rangers would be concerned about lost tonight. Except, I guess, if you want to stretch it and say Toronto. Seattle would have lost, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, the Angels, Minnesota, Houston. And if you want to talk about the Yankees for the first wild card spot, they lost too. So everybody lost. The Rangers just have to do their job here in the 9th inning, hang on and win it. Be a good day in the standings.
2 balls, 2 strikes. John set, and the pitch to Miller. In the air, center field, Venable. Waiting for it to come down out of the night sky. That is out number 2. Tollefson, with 2 up and 2 down now, will face Ketel Marte, switch hitting shortstop. Sean Tollefson, by saving 30 of 32, if he were to continue at this rate, or with this rate, 93.8% save success rate. That would be the highest in Ranger franchise history.
Wow.
Joe Nathan had the save percentage at 93.5 back in 2013. Sean a little bit better than that. 1 ball and no strikes to Marte, who is 0 for 4 tonight. Out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tollefson's last non-save, last blown save, was the 25th against Toronto. Prior to that, the 11th of July against San Diego. That's fouled back, and he is one strike away from closing this one out against Seattle and get back-to-back saves. 1-2 to Marte. John Tolleson, the 27-year-old out of Allen, Texas, by way of Baylor University. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball call, strike 3. And that is a winner as Sean Tolleson rings up save number 31. And the Rangers make it 2 in a row over Seattle as Cole Hamels gets the win tonight with help from the bullpen. Tolleson getting the save. He is 31 out of 33 this year. The most saves since taking over as the closer back on May 20th. And the Rangers backed him with 4 home runs tonight. A season high tying 4 home runs as the Rangers found the long ball. And great timing as the Rangers needed it tonight as